It's 3 a.m. The sound of a phone vibrating echoes in a dimly lit room, pulling you out of a restless sleep. The notification, a new follower, a new message, a like on a post. You pick up the phone and unlock it, half blinded by the bright screen. The number in the corner of your social media account has grown by a few digits, and for a split second, a flicker of validation rushes through you. You've done something to deserve this acknowledgement. But then almost instantly it fades. The emptiness creeps in. The feeling is fleeting. That small burst of happiness fades, leaving behind the cold emptiness you've learned to ignore. You turn over and close your eyes again. The question nags at the back of your mind. Is this all there is to it? This is the modern paradox we live in. We chase after success, constantly striving to rise above the average, to achieve something more, something extraordinary. The world tells us it's all about doing more, having more, being seen more. It's all about winning the race, standing on top of the heap, and showing the world that we're better than we were yesterday. Success is measured in followers, likes, promotions, and milestones that others can see, track, and admire. But for all our hustle, all our effort, and all the sacrifices we make to rise above, we often find ourselves empty. Achieving external success doesn't guarantee internal satisfaction. In fact, sometimes it only deepens the emptiness. It's an easy trap to fall into, especially when the world around you is constantly pushing you to do more, be more, and achieve more. We are conditioned to equate success with the accumulation of wealth, status, and recognition. But in chasing those external markers of success, we often forget the most crucial question. What does it mean to be truly successful? If we look closely, we see that there are two types of success. The first is what the world tells us success is: external, visible, measurable. It's the number of followers on your social media profile, the weight of your paycheck, the luxury of your lifestyle, or the prestige of the company you work for. This is the version of success that we see in advertisements, in Instagram photos, in the faces of celebrities and influencers. This is the kind of success that everyone is taught to want, that everyone is supposed to strive for. But the second kind of success is quieter. It's invisible to the public eye, harder to measure, and often misunderstood. It's the kind of success that resides in the inner world, the inner peace, the clarity, the sense of purpose and direction. This is the success of being true to yourself, of living authentically, of embracing who you are without the need to prove anything to the outside world. It's the kind of success that leaves you feeling fulfilled, not because you've won something external, but because you've cultivated something within. Yet, too many of us are caught in the trap of comparing ourselves to others, trying to measure up to a version of success that is imposed on us by society. We look at others, celebrities, influencers, colleagues, friends, and feel that we must meet the same standards. We measure our success by how many people like our posts, how many promotions we get at work, or how much money is in our bank account. We chase these external markers because they are visible, because they provide immediate gratification, and because they offer a way to measure our worth. But in doing so, we lose sight of something much more profound. The truth is, success is not something that can be measured in numbers, in followers, or in status. It is not something that can be determined by external factors alone. The real measure of success is how you feel about yourself, how you live your life, and how you approach the world. It's about inner growth, not outer achievement. It's about cultivating a mindset that is not swayed by the changing tides of external validation. So, what happens when we realize that the pursuit of external success leaves us feeling empty? That no matter how much we accumulate, we are still haunted by an underlying dissatisfaction? It's at this point that the illusion begins to break down. The world tells us that success is about more money, more fame, more achievements. But when we reach those things, we often find that they do not deliver what we expected. The sense of fulfillment, the feeling of having truly arrived, is elusive. There's a deeper truth waiting to be discovered, a truth that is more uncomfortable to face, but ultimately more rewarding. Real success has nothing to do with external markers. It has everything to do with how you cultivate the mindset to navigate life. It's about recognizing that success doesn't come from escaping average. It comes from transcending the need for comparison and external validation. Real success arises from mastering the inner game, from aligning your actions with your true values, and from embracing your own potential without needing the approval of the world around you. But how do we rise above the average? Not by meeting the external measures of success, but by redefining what success truly means. What would happen if we stopped chasing external validation and instead focused on cultivating inner strength, clarity, and resilience? What if the key to extraordinary success was not striving harder, but slowing down and reconnecting with the truth within us? As the phone vibrates again, this time with a message that you don't feel compelled to check, you lie back and close your eyes. The rush of external success feels distant, almost irrelevant. You realize that the chase has led you away from something much deeper, the sense of inner peace that comes from knowing who you truly are. But that realization is only the beginning. What if, in letting go of the pursuit of external markers of success, you could tap into a form of success that feels authentic, grounded, and lasting? This is where the real journey begins. To truly understand the path to extraordinary success, we must first examine the forces that shape our perception of it. Most of us are taught from an early age that success is something measurable, something visible. Whether it's academic achievements, career milestones, or social media popularity, the world continuously reinforces the idea that success is about surpassing others, accumulating more, and attaining a higher status. This perspective often leads us to mistake the pursuit of external validation for the pursuit of real success. But as we dig deeper, we realize that the essence of success lies not in what we accumulate, but in how we evolve internally. When we start questioning the conventional understanding of success, we inevitably encounter the wisdom of thinkers like Carl Jung, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Viktor Frankl. These philosophers didn't just talk about success in the traditional sense of fame or fortune. Instead, they delved into the psyche and spirit of human beings, exploring the deeper dimensions of what it means to live a meaningful life. Jung, for instance, spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to navigate the expectations of society. This persona is an adaptation, a social construction that allows us to fit in with the external world. However, this mask is often at odds with our true self, leading to a sense of inner fragmentation. We might excel in the world's terms. Perhaps we get the promotion, the recognition, the wealth, but we still feel disconnected, as though we are living a life that is not fully our own. The external success that others applaud is not enough to fill the inner void. Jung believed that the only way to achieve true success was to embark on the process of individuation, the journey of becoming whole by integrating the unconscious parts of ourselves with our conscious awareness. This process requires us to confront uncomfortable truths, to face our shadow, the parts of ourselves that we suppress or deny. Only by embracing these darker aspects can we truly know ourselves and grow into the person we are meant to be. This is where real success lies, not in external achievements, but in the courage to face our own complexities, contradictions, and vulnerabilities. True success comes not from appeasing the world's expectations, but from living authentically, from fully embracing our inner truth. But the path to this kind of success is not an easy one. Nietzsche, another philosopher whose work provides a profound lens on success, argued that most people live lives of mediocrity because they are enslaved by the herd mentality. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche introduces the concept of the Übermensch, the overman, a person who transcends societal norms and creates their own values. The Übermensch is not bound by the constraints of conventional success, but instead they chart their own path, guided by their inner vision of what life could and should be. For Nietzsche, extraordinary success is about the willingness to break free from societal expectations and forge your own way, regardless of the opinions of others. It's about embracing your individual power, your creativity, and your capacity to shape your own destiny. This requires immense strength and the courage to face the fear of isolation, judgment, and failure. The Übermensch does not fear being different from the masses. In fact, they revel in it. They find freedom in self-creation, in transcending the limitations imposed by a world that values conformity over authenticity. While Nietzsche's ideas challenge us to break free from the expectations of the collective, Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, provides a counterpoint that deepens our understanding of success from an existential perspective. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl argues that true success comes from the search for meaning, not from the accumulation of accolades or material wealth. Frankl's experiences in concentration camps taught him a painful yet profound lesson. Even in the most brutal circumstances, human beings have the capacity to find meaning in their suffering. Frankl's concept of logotherapy suggests that the ultimate goal in life is not to seek pleasure or avoid pain, but to find meaning in all experiences, both good and bad. For Frankl, the key to extraordinary success lies in our ability to find meaning and purpose, even in the most difficult and seemingly insignificant moments of life. Success, in this sense, is not about achieving a specific external goal, but about living with a sense of direction, purpose, and inner conviction. It's about making choices that align with our deepest values and finding ways to contribute to the world around us. Frankl teaches us that external success might give us temporary satisfaction, but it is meaning that sustains us through life's challenges. By now, it should be clear that real success cannot be found in external accolades alone. To transcend the average, we must shift our focus from the outer world to the inner world. The contrast between external and internal success is a stark one. External success might be visible to others, but internal success is something that only we can measure. It's about living in alignment with our values, embracing our true selves, and cultivating a sense of peace that isn't dependent on the approval of others. It's the realization that success is not something that happens to us from the outside, but something that we create within ourselves. This inner shift is essential if we are to transcend the average. The world encourages us to be busy, to accumulate, to compete. But this external chase often leads to burnout, dissatisfaction, and a sense of being lost. The truth is that our obsession with external success often blinds us to the deeper sources of fulfillment that lie within us. If we are to truly rise above average, we must learn to look inward, to cultivate a mindset of authenticity, self-awareness, and resilience. This is not to say that external success is irrelevant. We still live in a world that values achievements, recognition, and accomplishments. However, the key is to stop allowing those external markers to define us. Instead, we must learn to redefine success on our own terms. Success, in the truest sense, is about growth, transformation, and alignment with our deepest truths. It is about becoming the best version of ourselves, not in the eyes of others, but in our own eyes. In the end, the essence of extraordinary success lies in the shift from external to internal. It is about recognizing that the only validation that matters is the one we give ourselves. It's about embracing the struggle, the growth, and the journey, rather than obsessing over the destination. True success is not about rising above others, but about rising to meet our own potential, about facing our fears, overcoming our doubts, and becoming who we were always meant to be. The moment of transformation is always the quietest one, often slipping in unnoticed after the storm of striving and the endless chase for more. It is in the silence that the truth finally breaks through, subtle, yet undeniable. You may have spent years climbing the ladder, measuring your success by the applause of the crowd, the numbers in your bank account, the increasing followers on your social media accounts. But with every step you took toward what you thought was the top, the emptiness within you grew larger, more pronounced. You were pursuing something, but you didn't know what. Your achievements, despite their external glitter, did not bring you the peace you had hoped for. They did not bring you fulfillment. Then one day you stop. You pause. You take a breath. And suddenly, you are no longer chasing. You are simply present. The frantic pace of life slows. And it's in this moment that the profound realization hits you. What you've been striving for all this time, the extraordinary success you thought you wanted, was never about the external achievements. The validation from others, the accolades, the applause, it was all empty. It was hollow. True success lies not in surpassing others or collecting more, but in cultivating a mindset that is at peace with itself, grounded in purpose and authenticity. This realization doesn't come in a single grand epiphany. It doesn't strike like lightning or burst forth in a moment of dramatic revelation. It's a quiet awareness that builds gradually, almost imperceptibly, until it becomes impossible to ignore. You begin to see through the illusion of external success. It's as if a veil has been lifted, revealing the truth that had always been right in front of you, but you had never stopped long enough to see. You realize that the chase, the constant pursuit of more, is a trap. The mind is conditioned to crave more, to hunger for recognition, for rewards, for external markers of achievement. But in doing so, it becomes disconnected from its true nature, from the deeper aspects of life that bring meaning and fulfillment. The race toward the top becomes an endless loop, a pursuit with no end, no finish line. Every victory is soon overshadowed by the desire for the next. And in this cycle, there is no real peace, no real satisfaction. As you sit in this newfound silence, you begin to ask yourself the question, what if the most extraordinary success is not found in the race to the top, but in the courage to step off the treadmill? What if success is not about beating others, about proving your worth to the world, but about connecting with your inner truth, your essence, and your purpose? The answer to this question is the key to breaking free from the chains of societal expectations, from the pressure to rise above the average at any cost. This moment of insight is not a one-time event. It is the beginning of a process, a journey that unfolds gradually as you begin to shift your priorities. You start to see that success is not something to be attained externally. It is something to be cultivated internally. The mind, when it is calm and clear, recognizes that true success is found in living a life of integrity, in aligning your actions with your deepest values, and in embracing who you truly are. The pursuit of more becomes a quiet surrender, a willingness to let go of the need for external validation. In this surrender, you find a new form of strength, one that comes not from control or striving, but from acceptance and trust. It's in this moment that the contrast between external success and internal fulfillment becomes crystal clear. External success is fleeting. It is dependent on forces outside your control. It can be taken away at any moment. The money can be lost, the fame can fade, and the recognition can disappear. But internal success, this deeper, more enduring success, is rooted in your sense of self. It is impervious to the fluctuations of external circumstances. It doesn't rely on validation from others, because it comes from a place of inner certainty and peace. This is where extraordinary success lies. It is the ability to stand in your truth, to live authentically, and to find meaning in every moment, no matter what the world around you says. As you begin to let go of the need for external markers of success, something remarkable happens. The pressure to perform, to constantly prove yourself, begins to fade. The noise of the world, with its constant demands for more, starts to lose its grip on you. In its place comes a deep sense of freedom. You are no longer enslaved to the expectations of others, to the relentless pursuit of something that can never be enough. You begin to live for yourself, not for the approval of the world, but for the fulfillment of your own purpose. This shift in mindset is transformative. It is not just a change in how you view success, but a fundamental reorientation in how you approach life. Success becomes less about accumulating and more about being. It becomes about cultivating the right mindset, the mindset of resilience, of self-awareness, and of authenticity. The desire for validation, the need for external markers, fades away. What remains is a quiet confidence, a knowing that you are enough as you are, and that the true measure of success is not in what you have, but in who you are. And this realization, this shift in perspective, ripples through every area of your life. It changes how you relate to others, how you approach your work, how you view challenges and failures. You begin to see life not as a competition, but as a journey that is deeply personal and yet profoundly universal. The struggles you face, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, all become part of the process of growth. Rather than viewing these challenges as obstacles to success, you begin to embrace them as opportunities for transformation. The more you cultivate this mindset of internal success, the more you realize that the extraordinary success you once sought externally has been inside you all along. It was never about achieving something beyond your reach. It was always about aligning with your own truth, letting go of the need to compare yourself to others, and trusting in the unfolding of your own path. This realization is not just an intellectual understanding. It is a deep emotional shift. It's the moment you begin to let go of the fear that has been driving you, the fear of being less than, the fear of not measuring up. It's the moment you stop trying to outrun your own insecurities and start embracing them. It's the moment you stop trying to be something you're not and begin to embrace who you truly are. And in this embrace, you find your greatest strength. What once felt like a struggle, constantly chasing after the next achievement, the next form of validation, becomes a thing of the past. You are no longer caught in the cycle of striving because you have already arrived. You have arrived at the realization that extraordinary success does not require you to surpass others, to achieve more than the average person. It simply requires you to show up as your authentic self, to be present in your life, and to live with purpose and meaning. This is the true meaning of success. It is the freedom to be yourself without apology. It is the peace that comes from no longer needing to prove anything to anyone. It is the quiet confidence that arises when you realize that you are already enough. This is the extraordinary success that we are all capable of, if only we are willing to let go of the illusion of external validation and embrace the deeper, more authentic journey within. As we reach the end of this journey, it's important to reflect on the essence of what we've discovered. We began by confronting the illusion of success, the external markers that society constantly tells us we must chase: wealth, fame, recognition. We realized that no matter how much we accumulate or achieve in the eyes of the world, it's never enough to fill the deeper void within us. The truth of success, we discovered, lies not in what we acquire, but in how we cultivate a mindset of authenticity, self-awareness, and resilience. Success is not about surpassing others or meeting societal standards. It's about becoming the person we were always meant to be. In embracing this truth, we shift our perspective on what it means to live an extraordinary life. Success is no longer a race to the top or a competition to outdo those around us. It is not about winning accolades or collecting trophies. True success is about mastering the inner game, finding peace in our own hearts, purpose in our daily actions, and clarity in our choices. It is about living with intention and authenticity, aligning our actions with our deepest values, and making choices that reflect our true self. The path to extraordinary success is not a shortcut. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. But it is also a path that leads to deep fulfillment, lasting peace, and a sense of true freedom. We are no longer bound by the need for external validation, because we have learned that the only validation that matters is the one we give ourselves. The more we let go of the chase for external success, the more we rise above average, not by surpassing others, but by fully embracing who we are. As you leave this journey, remember this: true success does not lie in what you achieve, but in who you become. In the end, the most extraordinary success is not found in the accumulation of more, but in the courage to live authentically, to cultivate meaning in every moment, and to embrace the person you are becoming. You were never meant to be anyone else. You were meant to be you. And in that, you will find your greatest success.